So, Phil,
Yeah.
have you ever heard of Essex, Connecticut?
Essex, Connecticut. It sounds like a British town. Isn't
I'm sure,
Essex a British town?
I'm sure it's a very Anglo name. Yeah.
Sounds uppity as hell. I see that logo, but it sounds uppity.
It sounds uppity.
Not too
How do you know
far
it's
off.
uppity when it's like
Essex, the name Essex?
No, I
That
mean
just sounds royal.
It does
kinda
sound
does.
royal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've never been then?
No.
You've never had the privilege.
No.
Well, we're going to school you on Essex, Connecticut,
We are.
and you might end up wanting to move there.
I doubt it.
Phil, it's a blue state. Black people are allowed to live in Essex.
Are you sure? But are they uppity black people?
Oh, that I don't know.
There's a range, man.
There's a range.
Yeah. Are they Obama black or are they like Ice Cube black?
I would say they're more the Obama variety, yeah,
Okay.
of blackness. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Oh, they are the Obama variety of blackness.
Here we go. Essex, Connecticut. Let's roll.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Hey listeners, ever wonder what it would be like to blow up your comfort zone at the tender age of 50? Well, we did just that. When our last kid went off to college, we hit the road in search of a new hometown. Now we bounce from city to city and bring you along for the ride. This is the Skip Town All-Stars podcast.
What's up, All-Stars? Welcome back to another episode of Skip Town All-Stars. We are back in the big studio today at the Podcast Doctor Studios in Orlando, Florida. Loving life. How you doing, Trixie?
I'm doing great. I love being in this big room.
I still haven't found a job yet, so that's why I'm here. This is not my studio anymore. This has been taken over by AI, so I'm just I'm like the Kramer of the show. I'll just pop in.
No, we can't even call you Producer Phil
I'm
anymore
just
in the
sitting
blog.
here. I've lost my purpose.
You've lost your purpose. Now
me.
you're just Phil on the couch.
I know, man. Dang.
It's going to be good though. You're always funny. It's great having you on the couch with us. So this is absolutely perfect. There was a part of me that is glad that AI took over for my selfish reasons to have you here with us.
Yes.
All right.
And speaking of AI, how's Maui doing back there?
Does not compute.
Well done. I love it.
Oh
This
my
week
God.
we're doing another Connecticut episode, but this is a great one.
Why was the other one not great?
Well, I think I'm going to take that over. This week we're doing another Connecticut episode. It's Essex this time around. For those of you who don't know where Essex is, it's basically north of Old Saybrook. Do you know where that is?
That narrowed it down, my friend. Phil knows exactly where it is.
It is. Do you know where that is?
I know Hartford.
Okay. Hartford is
That's-
in the heart of Connecticut.
That's literally it.
That's it. So it's about an hour and probably 15 minutes, I would guess, from Hartford. So you can fly to Bradley Airport
Okay.
and then get in your car and meet us in exit.
Exit? Meet us at the exit?
Meet us at the exit. Essex is north, as I said, of Old Saybrook, which is really on the Long Island Sound. Essex itself is where the Connecticut River feeds into the Sound. So
it's
a few
south
towns
of
up.
Hartford. It's south of Hartford. 'Cause you're
It's
going
south
towards-
and east of
Yeah,
Hartford.
south and east because you're going straight toward the water.
Yeah. And heading toward Massachusetts, Cape Cod, and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So really cool town. Denise, you have to tell us how in the heck we ended up getting to Essex in the first place.
Oh, okay. So we had spent a month in where were we? It was a month.
Guilford.
We were a month in Guilford, and I met a guy who's a real estate agent, and I had told him that we were spending our month in Guilford to see if we liked it and could we live here. And he suggested that we go to a little town called Essex. He said that he knows someone who has a piece of property there. It's not for sale right now, but it could come up for sale. And since property is so hard to find in the Essex, Madison, Guilford area, just take a look at this piece of property. And we did. So we drove to this piece of property. We weren't really crazy about it because it was off of a freeway. It needed a lot of work. basically, it's a piece of land that you need to develop. And so
It was on busy. It was not just off the freeway. It was also on a very busy like throughway.
Kind of. I mean, that didn't really bother me so much as like, wow, like it just would be a lot of work to develop this piece of property. And I'm not into that. That's not what I want to do. But in the meantime, after we saw that piece of property, we drove around and we came to downtown Essex, and it was so cute. It was literally out of a magazine, like legitimately out of a magazine, with steeples for, like churches with beautiful steeples, clock towers. The main street ended at the water. I mean, it was unbelievable. So
It reminds me of Pleasantville.
It
kind of.
It could look like Pleasantville, but it's so historic and colonial that you were expecting like dudes with like black buckle shoes and high white socks and white ponytail wigs walking around, like blue coats.
That's how it is. Yeah.
It's like that there.
So we decided to spend some time there, and we decided to go to the Griswold Inn because Essex is so small that the Griswold Inn is really their main hub. Like, it's not just a hotel, but it's kind of where the community gathers. They have a bar that has live music. They have a beautiful wine bar. They have a great area that used to be, it's still the library, but they have lunch there. So it's not just a place to spend the night. It's actually where the community will gather and where the tourists go. So if you're going to go to Essex, you're going to go to the Griswold. It is the place. And the one thing that we learned about it, which was we were schooled on this. Do you know when someone says to you, our establishment was, built in 1776, and it's been a continuous restaurant or a continuous bar since then? Do you really know what that means? Do you have any idea what that means?
I mean, I'm assuming it means it's just been open since that time. Or a piece of furniture is there from the beginning.
You were right of the first one. Okay. We were schooled from several people that owned a business in, whether it was Rhode Island, somebody said this to us, or Connecticut. Continuously means they never closed their doors. So it wasn't like this was a bar from 1776 that, had a hiatus for, 10 years from 1980.
Yeah, because Joe ran it into the ground with his drinking.
Right. So they never once had to close it was never once closed. So they were like closed for business, on Sundays and Mondays or whatever their off days are. But it was a continuous, fully functioning business since whatever the date of establishment was. And that is a big deal if you live in New England, own a business in New England. It's a big deal because to have a business that started in 1776, which the Griswold Inn did, and is still running to this day, is pretty phenomenal.
Wow. So it's as old as the country.
It is.
Really
Absolutely is.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you're watching us on YouTube, we are wearing the shirts from the Griswold Inn.
Do.
Yes, Griswold Inn. So we stayed there. And if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like. Tell a friend, tell a family member.
Nice segue. I like how you did that.
Make us go viral. And if you're listening, obviously, share the show with a friend. We always love when you do that. But so we spent our time at the Griswold Inn because we figured what better way to get to know Essex than to be in one of the oldest continuously running establishments since 1776.
That's crazy because places nowadays don't even last 6 months.
That is true. Wow.
Yeah.
A place to be here, 240 something years?
Yeah. It'll be like 250 years in 2 years.
Yeah. They're going to have their big
Oh, we got to be there for that. It's crazy. It really is like the movies. I just imagine so it's situated right on Main Street. It is like Denise said, it's kind of the community hub. Mm-hmm. Like people in that area will go out somewhere, see a show, catch a movie, dinner, whatever. So many people end up at this hotel on their way home.
Always.
And it's like their last stop off of the night, or they'll go catch the house band, the Cherry Pie band.
The house band.
Who's been there like on Mondays or Thursdays?
Thursdays.
Thursday. Every
That's it.
Thursday for like 250 years,
It
this
goes
band is there.
Thursdays,
I'm
yeah.
just kidding. Not that long, but they've been there a long time.
We're gonna make it one day.
I know. And so
They're dedicated.
they are.
They're
They are.
dedicated.
Keyword
It's
on
like
dead.
I'm Cherry Pie Band 5th generation or something like that. But anyway, so it's a very popular place. In addition to that, they have a gift shop. They have all kinds of stuff in the daytime too. They have a chocolate shop there. They have a coffee shop there. It's all part of the Griswold Inn complex, if you will. There are different sort of satellite buildings where you can also get suites and rooms and things like that. So it's basically at this end of Main Street, leading right up to the river. They got this place on lock.
So
they own it all.
We were really, really fortunate. We met one of the owners. We met her name is Joan Paul, and her family has owned it since 1995. Yeah, I just want to get I want to get the date right because I was going to say 1994, but it's 1995 that her family has owned it. And this particular inn has only been owned by 6 families, only 6
For 250 years.
Yes, isn't that incredible?
Wow.
And she said that they've gotten requests from several big chain hotels to purchase it, but since it's such a community hub, they've declined the offers because if they do that, then it's going to be so different.
Do they have at least one room that looks the same?
Yeah. Oh no, they have a whole building that's the same.
That nothing's really been changed other than
When we stayed in the old part, that was
It's the bed that was in the suite that we stayed in, I think was designed by one of the guys that put a bed in the White House way back
the
when.
same carpenter.
Yeah, the same carpenter.
So, obviously, like their heating and their air conditioning, that's all been upgraded so you can have comforts of, the modern time. But the actual building that we were in was the old part of the hotel, which is the historical part of the hotel. And our room was one of those rooms. I mean, that was the whole beauty of staying there, was that we got to stay in the old part of the actual inn. Yeah,
furniture is all antique. Cabinets look like they're from that era. I mean, I have to assume that they're that old.
Of the bar is the original roof. The original roof of the bar.
Get out of here.
No,
we can't even.
It was metal, but also, I was saying to James, do you remember it's not just metal, but it was like you could see shells, because back in the day they used to make. Remember,
it was like a slurry that they would make with like broken shells and sand and rocks and stuff.
Yeah, and you could see it in the when you look up in the ceiling.
No way.
Horsehair. It had horsehair in it.
That's it. Horsehair.
Wait.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, you got to get crafty when you're in pilgrim times, colonial times.
That was their insulation.
So mud, horsehair, and broken shells.
Yep.
Yeah, and you could see it in the ceiling. Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, in the tap room there.
Yeah. Tell the story of how Joan's family actually came to buy this inn, because her husband is a lawyer. The brother is a hedge fund guy. How did it all come to be?
So the artwork in the place is phenomenal, and it's a lot of, you would expect maritime artwork, like a lot of ships, a lot of colonial sort of scenic landscapes and all that. I guess the Joan's brother-in-law at one point came in to purchase a piece of art, and whoever the family member was that owned it at that time said to him, well, why don't you just take the whole building? And because of the historic nature of this place, he had to entertain it seriously. I mean, if you had the means to do it, you have to think about it. So, I don't know however much time passed or what have you, but I mean, Joan spent a couple hours talking with us, telling us all about, how her family acquired this thing. And so the three brothers, all 3 brothers, right?
There were 3. I don't know what the other brother did. I knew one was a lawyer, one was a hedge fund guy, and I cannot remember what
but the family's
an agent from LA. Do you remember?
Yeah,
the one was an agent from LA.
But they all went in on it, right?
They all went in on it.
All 3 of them.
Uh-huh.
And so, I mean, Joan is like hands-on, like running a lot of the day-to-day. She's there, and a fantastic staff. It's so crazy. I mean, you walk into this place and you're like, man, like I bet people have had secret conversations here that have shifted the direction of this nation. Like,
Oh
it's
my gosh,
nuts.
they had Illuminati meetings
It's
there.
like that kind of, it feels like that kind of stuff. There's nothing in the literature on the building or on the walls or anything.
Post-it notes?
No, there are no claims to that, but you walk into a place that old and you're like, something somewhere went down here.
For sure. Yeah.
Is since it's a colonial style, is it taller than 3 stories?
No.
Not often. No.
No.
How big is the hotel though?
The hotel is only 2 stories.
Yeah, I think it's only 2 stories.
Yeah, it is only 2 stories. There's
So-
not a building on Main Street that was taller than 3 stories, other than the steeple from the church.
Okay, I'm confused.
Oh, so there's no building. Like, you're right. There's other than the tower for the church.
Oh,
there
That's
was
the tallest thing in the
that's
town.
the tallest thing in the town. So
Yep.
when you look down, I took a picture too. When you look down the main street, it looks like a New England town where it's all kind of the same vibe throughout, like both sides of the street. And yes, there are no tall buildings. No.
The best part is, and I think even a couple of the buildings, like where the Essex has sort of taken over
Yeah.
certain sections or whatever, you can walk by these buildings and they have plaques on them saying who built the house and
Yeah.
what year it was built. It's very, you want to talk about like sort of highfalutin or whatever. It's like you see these houses where it's like this house was erected in 1789 and it's got the family's name on it or what have you.
Yeah, it's
and people
crazy.
own these things now. Some of the buildings on the Grizz's, we call it the Grizz, on the Grizz's property also have those plaques on them. So whether or not they were part of the original hotel, they still have all that history included. So
Is it haunted? It's something that
funny
old.
you should
Something that
ask.
old. There's gotta be. There gotta be some dead people walking around.
So we did ask, and
I'm gonna look it up.
You don't have to look it up because we
you don't have to look it up. I got it right here. So we did
They
ask.
don't freely like to give that information. I'm not going to lie to you. Like, wherever you go and it's historic and you ask if it's haunted, I can just tell you from our experiences, no one freely likes to give that info, Phil.
Why? I would think that would bring maybe it would bring the wrong type of business.
That's what they're afraid of.
Agreed.
They're afraid of like looky-loos and yahoos basically from all over America coming there just to like try and catch a sight of a ghost or whatever. But to answer your question, some of the spirits reported at the Griswold Inn: a woman in white in room 10, a man who died in a fire there, and a little girl who drowned in a nearby river. And the one that we did catch from a couple of the staff members was guests have reported, I think it was a busboy or something like that, but he and his mother or something worked for the hotel, and a former employee is known to haunt the halls. So, yep.
Did you guys encounter any of that or?
No, we didn't actually. And we were in the older part too. So
We were.
Yeah. There's I don't believe in ghosts really.
I know you
Like,
don't.
I'm just like, if I don't see it, I don't believe it. So do you believe in ghosts though?
Of course I do.
Yeah. So you believe in Arthur?
I believe in Arthur.
It wasn't even Arthur that made me believe in it. You know, I've seen
To
I've seen some stuff.
To recap.
Where? You lived in Virginia.
We just mentioned Arthur, though. We should recap, and that is this studio has a ghost, and we've heard it in at least 2 of our episodes so far.
The banging could have been anything.
There's nothing behind the wall. There's nothing there.
He'll probably make that clicking noise in a minute.
All right,
gonna
if the
get angry
color
with you.
behind me changes randomly, like right now my color is pink behind me, that is Arthur.
If Denise
Bring
turns
it, Arthur.
if Denise turns into the girl from The Ring, then you know
Gosh.
Arthur is at
All
play.
right, so hold on real quick. I just sidebar. You're from Virginia. I'm sorry, but Virginia is not known for haunted houses. So
Williamsburg, hello.
There's got to be.
Colonial
Yeah.
Williamsburg.
Oh yeah, all those towns. Like
really?
remember
'Cause-
Jamestown? Like
Yes.
Jamestown was one of the first. Like nobody knows what happened to the people from Jamestown, right?
Roanoke.
Roanoke.
Yes.
Oh, that's in Virginia. You're right.
Dude,
Yeah.
Virginia is riddled with the colonial history and murder
Oh, okay.
and slavery.
Yeah.
Okay, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, it's one of the original 13.
I just
so-
don't know. You know, all those movies they make about a haunting, it's never been a haunting in Virginia. It's been a haunting in Connecticut.
True.
I'll give the YouTube audience a homework assignment.
Oh,
Google Crawford Road. It's in Virginia, and look it up. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Look at Crawford Road.
Crawford Road.
And if we ever do another episode about this, I'll tell you about the house that I lived in. We were only there for 3 months, and it was that bad. Something happened every day. So
Is this the house that your dad's girlfriend burnt down?
no,
Oh, no. It's a different house.
different house.
Okay.
Yeah, but
You've had some trauma in your houses over the years.
yeah, that's why I'm so calm.
Now you live in an apartment.
Yeah,
I would never ever move to a
condo.
house. I would never live in a house again if I lived in a house that was haunted. I would seriously live in an apartment, live in a condo or a townhouse. There's no way I'd move in a house again.
Oh my gosh.
No, I live in a house now, but
You will?
I do live in a house now.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. I literally thought you lived in an apartment. That's why I was like, oh, you're never going to move into a house again.
Nope. Oh, I'm glad I got a house. I would never live in an apartment again.
I know. You're haunted by all your neighbors.
Yeah, bed bugs.
Oh, okay. No, we're not that. Yeah. Okay.
We went way off.
No, we did go way off. Okay. Back to the Griswold. Okay. Really quick. I just want to mention a lot of movies have been made here, a lot of Hallmark movies, because Essex, believe it or not, looks like the set of a Hallmark movie. So if anyone has ever watched a Hallmark movie, they all kind of look the same. They all look very, what's the word?
Quaint.
Yes. Quaint. So
That's my word.
Essex being the backdrop of a couple Hallmark movies is not surprising. And the Griswold was actually in a Christmas movie that Hallmark made called Christmas at Pemberley Manor. So the Griswold was in there. Griswold, their production is dated back to the 1960s. That inn was actually in a show called Dark Shadows.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then it was in Mad Men in 2010.
Okay.
And then it was in The Bachelorette in 2014.
The Bachelorette. It's in all these prestigious movies, and then it's in The Bachelorette.
I know. But
That's awesome.
The biggest claim to fame is there is an author who wrote a book, which I've seen a couple of times. It's actually been at some of my friends' houses. It's a book called 1,000 Places to Visit Before You Die. The author is named Patricia Schultz. This book is pretty cool. So like I said, I've looked at it a couple of times. If you ever come across it, just open up any page. Any single page you just open to, and it'll be a cool place to visit. And the Griswold Inn is actually in this book. So it's a best-selling book. And it made it in her 1,000 Places to See Before You Die. So I think that's pretty phenomenal.
Not bad. Across the entire planet.
Yeah.
If you see all the 1,000 places, can you just okay, I can die now? Or
I think you
is
can.
that how that works?
I think
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. You can rest well. You can literally RIP.
All right.
It's the king of bucket lists.
All right. You know, that's the Mandela effect.
The bucket list?
The term bucket list. Sorry,
Really?
we're getting way out there.
No, let's do it.
No one the term bucket list is a new term. They're saying that no one said that term before 2007. From the movie.
From the movie, yeah. Kick the bucket. Everybody's like, before
No,
I
the
kick the
bucket
bucket.
Movie, the bucket
With
list.
Jack
I know,
Nicholson
but
and Robert
isn't
De
it
Niro.
in reference to him kicking the bucket? I'm going to kick the bucket, so here's my list of things I want to do before I kick the bucket.
Correct. But they say no one's ever used that term bucket lists as things you want to do before you die.
So they created that term. The production company created that term.
But people are saying people have always said that because of Kick the Bucket. But apparently that never existed until that movie, The Bucket List.
Oh, I can believe that. Can you believe that?
I kind of can. I've heard "kick the bucket" a lot, but bucket list, I do feel like that is relatively new. Do you not believe that?
No, I don't. I can't.
Do you remember your parents saying they had a bucket list?
Black people don't talk about that. we just trying to live.
We're just trying to
We got no list. We just got a bucket.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, you have to make a bucket list now.
Yeah, I have a bucket list of things I want to do.
Like what? Name one thing.
I can't tell you this.
You can name one that's like. Can you name one?
Yeah, not
that's
the
like,
X-rated one.
No, you don't have to. Name
Oh
the
no,
X-rated.
I'm not a deviant. Jeez.
No, just you don't have.
Oh, that's
one
my
that,
list,
Like,
sorry.
that is totally your. Do not. What's the word? Project your list onto Phil.
Sorry, Phil.
You must have one that you can share with us.
Okay, yeah. I want to go to Brazil and see the Christ the Redeemer statue.
Oh,
That's a good one.
That's a great one. A lot of people want to do that. That's a great one. Yeah.
But I want to do other devious things in Brazil, though. But that's like one of the things.
We're not going to.
I'm not
about
saying
that bucket
sexual.
list.
Okay,
just-
you can
just saying.
apologize anytime now
I'm just
because
saying,
Phil
but-
just revealed.
Brazil would be a cool place to visit because I don't travel anywhere. So like me seeing the world and doing the things that y'all do, that would be like an ultimate bucket list. Because I've been here, I've been to Virginia, I've been here, and I've been to Mexico, but that was for medical tourism.
Yeah.
I've been to I've driven across the states, but that's just me driving by. I never actually had a chance to like sit down and experience things. So just experiencing things is like my bucket list. I would love to do stuff.
All right, if you had I know we're going off real quick. I just want to ask though.
You can go.
Okay.
It's your show.
Thanks.
Go ahead, lady.
Right now, today, if somebody said, not tomorrow because we're shooting with you, but Monday, you could get in the car and go visit any state you wanted and spend 3 weeks there, where would you pick?
Los Angeles.
Oh, wow. I wish we knew you when we lived there.
Yeah.
Totally show you around.
You could have stayed in the office, Phil. It would have been great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been to San Diego, but that was temporarily. But
LA is totally different.
yeah, Los Angeles.
Okay.
Not New York. I've been in New York as a child. It stinks. Smells like pee-pee. It does.
It does. I don't disagree.
Do not.
I don't.
Yeah.
LA smells like pee-pee too. Though.
Oh no, it does.
It
Damn,
does.
don't ruin the lore for me. Oh,
Okay.
doesn't.
You could still go,
It does.
though.
yeah.
You need a Mandela effect to visit Los Angeles while Denise and I were still living there.
No, I wish there was a Mandela effect for that. Yeah, we would really show you really a good time. But okay, so okay, here's something really funny. I'm so like,
White.
thank you.
Sorry, that was really funny.
Well, okay.
I was hoping you would laugh at that. That was a good one.
And sometimes I'm just out of it. So I posted a picture of the Griswold Inn, right? And your friend who also listens to our show, Tim Wilsbach, he said, because I posted a picture of us dining in the dining room or in the wine bar. Yeah, and I said, I think on the post, oh my gosh, we had a fabulous dinner at the Griswold Inn, and Tim said, was the bartender and the waitress named Susan and something like from Griswold's family? What did they name Griswold's Family Vacation? Who are
National
the Griswolds?
Lampoons?
Yeah, who are the Griswolds? What are their names?
Clark.
And who else?
I forget the wife's name.
That's before my time. dog.
Okay, so he said, was it Clark and blah, blah, blah. I had no idea what he was talking about. And I said, no, it was Stephen and Lisa. And he goes, and I'm so stupid sometimes. I wrote, no, it was Stephen and Lisa. Have you ever been to the Griswold Inn? I'm like, when did you go? And he goes, no. He's like, I'm making a reference to National Lampoon's like Family Vacation, the Griswolds. And he's like, it fell flat. And I had to apologize. I'm like, I'm sorry. I saw that when I was 8 and I don't even really remember it. Yeah. So it was a joke that like I didn't get. I was so excited that Tim had been to the Griswold and he was like, no, I was just asking if the people in this photo were Clark and
Oh, that's funny. I didn't even know that.
So
yeah.
do they have any traditions like that they did back then? Like, oh, if you want water, you got to pump it. like
No.
That's awesome.
Maybe.
I think I should call Joan and tell her.
Yeah.
She should start these traditions. Like if you want water, you got to go to the well and bring it to your room.
Maybe at Christmas they serve a Christmas goose instead of,
Tuesday night witch hunt.
Oh, that's
that'd be
fantastic.
fun. They're a little south of Massachusetts, but I'm sure there were probably accusations still flying.
I think this is a great idea. I'm going to call her. Yeah.
A witch hunt is actually a good idea. A community dunking.
Okay.
Go for it.
Just because somebody got cholera or something.
Okay. They get dunked.
Well, they accused somebody of, that was the whole Salem witch trial thing.
They got burned.
Yes, honey, the witches got burned, but why did they get burned? Because they were accused of bringing
I know,
sickness
but what's
and
dunking?
disease.
What's dunking?
No, they dunked them to tell if they're telling the truth.
Like waterboarding.
They put them underwater. It's like waterboarding.
I didn't know that.
Or if they float, then they're witches, and then they burn
They're
them.
dead though. If they're floating, it's because they're dead.
No, baby, they don't drown them. They torture them. That's the
Okay.
point.
Oh, yeah. This is too much. No, this is part of history I did not pay attention in class.
We did not visit Salem on this run,
No.
so maybe
But,
next time.
So anyway, so we were when we stayed at the Griswold, we had food, had dinner, obviously, went to
did.
the wine bar, and we met Stephen and Lisa. Stephen was the wine bar manager. Lisa
Mm-hmm.
was was our waitress, who was amazing and gave us such good tips on where to stay. So, yeah, it was really great.
Lisa gave us a couple tips on communities to visit.
Did I say where to stay?
Yeah, where to stay.
didn't
But
mean
we were
where to
already
stay,
staying
but, like,
somewhere.
No.
I knew what you
Where to
meant. That's
go?
why I'm just like
Yep.
steamrolling over you right now.
Thank you.
So Lisa actually gave us a couple communities to check out in addition to Essex, and we'll get into those later in the show. But of special note, number one, the food here was fantastic, and Chef Eric Bond is the man. So I have to give staff shout outs at this point because they took such good care of us. Wine director Alan Barone, maybe Baroni, I'm not sure. But Alan does such a great job that the Grizz has received the Wine Spectator Award of Excellence for 16 years in a row.
What is a wine spectator?
That's like white people stuff.
You just looking at it? Like,
No, like Wine Spectator is like a magazine or an organization.
oh,
Yeah.
I thought that was like an action. I'm spectating people drinking wine, and I'll give you an award for looking the best at looking at wine.
Oh, that's really great. No,
That's
they
what that
actually-
sounds like.
Yeah, no, they got an award from that organization.
Oh.
16 years in a row. That's pretty. That's pretty great.
rad,
Yeah.
And
If you're a wine enthusiast, that's a big deal. Yeah.
yeah, it's a big deal.
I'm scared
16
of
years. Not bad.
You're what?
Scared of wine. I don't know whatever to get. There's too many options.
Oh, I'm with you.
Just like at Starbucks.
Well, it's whatever you like, man.
He doesn't know what he likes
I
yet.
don't know what I like.
Okay.
I don't either.
I'll bring you some bottles. We
All
can
right.
crack a few.
I always tell people, like, don't waste your good wine on me, because I don't know if I could tell a difference between a $5 bottle of wine and a $100
I'll
bottle of
never
wine.
know. I'm with you. Give me the 7-Eleven wine. I'm sure it'll taste
You'll
the
be
same.
able to tell the difference between 7-Eleven wine.
We'll try it.
There's so many good. Okay, this is Alan is not going to agree with me on this, but there are so many good like $20 to $30 bottles of wine out
Alan's
there.
definitely not going to agree with you.
He's not.
Very few people are going to agree with you on this one right now.
Wait, what's the term? Hold on. I'm going to try and say it. Sommelier.
You're very good.
that what he
Yeah,
is?
that's it.
Is he a sommelier?
Yep.
Alan is not. I mean, I'm sure he's probably skilled at that. Yeah, but his official title is wine director.
Oh. Sommelier sounds better.
That's more like the person who comes around to your table and says, "What are you ordering?" Oh, I recommend
think
this.
he has to be a sommelier, right?
You would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
I think Phil's right.
But so was Stephen.
Oh, he was really good too.
Stephen Gray, for that matter. He took the time. He was the manager that night, and he took the time out to wait on us, which was really nice of him.
So we should do a poor person's wine flight. So what we do is we take Phil and we will do like four glasses. So a wine flight is like 4 glasses or 5. How many are in a wine flight?
5.
Okay.
For a beer one, there's 5.
Okay, so then we take like 5 different bottles that range from $20. No, let's start at $10 and go up to $50. We got to do this. Literally, we're going to do this next week and record
We can't
it.
call it a poor person's wine flight if you're buying a $50 bottle of wine.
Babe, real wine connoisseurs start at $100 a bottle. You
Good
know that,
Lord.
right?
Babe, I know. I've been to Napa, okay? I
Okay,
know how
so
much an expensive
They still
bottle.
don't think $50 is a lot.
$50 is a lot for a poor person. That's my point. You've never been poor, so you don't know. But I grew up, you know.
Oh, the truth comes out.
Yeah.
No, I have. I've been poor.
You
I
haven't
have
been poor, honey.
I have been poor.
You've never been
Okay,
poor.
so what do we do? $10 to $25?
Yeah, somewhere in that range.
All right, we're going to do 5
No, you got to
bottles.
do the expensive one because I need to know.
One
I need to know what it
expensive
tastes.
one. One
I need to
expensive
taste-
one.
I need to, and you can't tell me what it is. I need to be able to taste. If
Okay, let's rephrase it. Instead of poor person's wine flight, let's say inexperienced wine person's wine flight. How is
It's really
that?
wordy.
Yeah,
We're going to have to work on it.
yeah.
we're gonna
I'll ask ChatGPT.
Okay.
Well,
Maybe they can help you find a job.
Right? No, he took my damn job. Damn you, Maui.
to be chalkboarded later, huh? So anyway, a lot of thanks. Oh, we got to mention the wine bar itself, though.
Oh, it's pretty incredible.
It's
Okay, this
sort
is
of designed
crazy.
like a ship's galley. I think a galley. It's not the deck, right?
No.
It wasn't the deck. It looks like the inside of a boat, and you can see out the back, and there's a mural. So behind the bar,
It's really crazy.
there's a mural as if you were looking out the river.
Oh snap!
Yeah, and it's painted. It's totally like charming, like colonial style. Like, what's that? What was the one artist, the painter?
Come on. No, I'm not going to know
Oh
that.
my gosh. Okay, never mind.
Picasso.
Not Picasso. Definitely not Picasso. It was like
He's a famous-
Wasaki or something like
He's a
that.
famous artist that does
Oh my
all
God.
of these New England style paintings. Yeah, I don't know.
So anyway, it's not like that at all. Actually, the mural doesn't look like that at all. But it's a river scene, and it has other boats and everything. They have this thing where if you're sitting there, they will flip a switch, and the mural will actually rock back and forth as if you're on a boat. It is
Outta here.
awesome, dude. It's such a cool feature.
Motorized mural.
Yeah.
100%.
So like, can it simulate? Can it make you simulate seasickness? Because you're
think
not
it
actually
could for
moving,
some people.
But like,
I absolutely think it can.
because it might trick your brain and think
100%.
With
If
enough
you're looking at
wine,
that-
I think, yeah.
Like, you ever see those like interactive floors?
Yep.
Oh.
To where like the floor is moving.
She's throwing up in her mouth.
You're like, you're
just-
not moving at all.
Yes, it makes me nauseous.
Gives you vertigo. almost.
Yes. Yes. You're standing still and then you're doing this because
Yeah.
it's moving.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't ever take me to one of those.
We will not have them turn the wall on for you when we go to the wine bar.
It's not on your bucket list.
I'll need a bucket.
All right. Anyway, so we went to the wine bar. We had dinner there. We
Yeah.
went to the tap room. We saw live music there.
Yeah. Because it's the place.
Yeah, totally. It's the community gathering.
Yeah.
That's the place where everybody comes to like kick it at the end of the night. And Joan was a fantastic host.
She was.
And her staff was incredible. Can't say enough good things about it. I mean, frankly, it feels like there's so much history there. It did make me wonder at points, like, how do I, like, why am I here? What does all this history want to do with me? You know, you feel small there. Like, if you think about how long that place has been running. So,
Does it make you feel insignificant?
yes,
Yeah.
to me it did. Yeah. It was really, it's one of those things where you're like,
Not to me.
gosh, out of a, that's because you've never been poor.
Stop it. It has nothing to do with money.
No, it doesn't.
You know
But-
what made me feel small, like really, really physically small? You know, the end of the movie Men in Black, to where this is from 1997.
I do not
when it
remember
first
that
came
far
out?
back, Phil. That was
That's a
just like
throwback.
3 years ago for you because you're a youngin', but I do not
But the
remember
end
that
of
far back.
Okay, this is a common movie trope to where they zoom out a lot.
Yeah.
So like the people are playing whatever, they zoom out to show like the city, they zoom out to show the state,
Yep.
they zoom out to show the country, they zoom out to show the earth, they zoom out to
The
they do that,
galaxy and all
right,
that.
and the galaxies and the solar systems, and then they keep zooming out, and then it's like a bunch of aliens playing marbles.
Oh,
with
yeah.
our galaxy. That makes me feel small. That,
I
that,
do
that
think
gives me
that.
anxiety when I see that clip.
Yeah.
I do think like we're probably a dust particle in the big scheme of things.
Yeah, we're a thumbnail. We're on the thumbnail of an alien or something.
Yeah. Or we're germs.
Oh, that's depressing. Let's just wrap this episode up.
All right, so hold on. I do have to ask. I want to know a couple of things before we move on. If you're a sports fan, who do you root for there? Is it? I think we talked about this before, but is it the New England Patriots or is it the New York Jets or who else would it be?
I think anybody who started out in that area as a New York Jets fan probably figured out in the last 20 years they're better off being a Patriots fan.
Okay, because
I
Connecticut
think most
doesn't
of them,
have a team. Let's make that clear. Connecticut doesn't.
Connecticut does not have a
football
team. It had a hockey team at one point. The Whalers moved
Yeah.
to North Carolina.
But there's no baseball team.
There's UConn
Yeah,
for
so their
basketball.
basketball team is their team though.
They just won the
And they
national
won
title.
the championship again.
a college team.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's their team though.
Okay,
Like,
so
Yeah.
that they don't have a pro team. So Connecticut legitimately does not have a professional team.
Correct.
Wow, that's so crazy. I wonder if
Yeah.
there's any other states that don't have teams. Wyoming. Wyoming doesn't have a team, I bet.
Rhode Island,
Rhode Island does not have a, no.
Maine.
There are probably a bunch.
Vermont.
Okay.
Hawaii,
Look at you. You're just rattling them
Alaska,
off.
Well, a lot of states don't have teams though.
Nebraska,
Yeah.
New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Huh. That's interesting. Okay.
Huh?
Do you think it doesn't have to do with revenue because
Population.
Rhode Island's really expensive?
Population.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Not
All
so
right.
much taxes, about like how many butts can fill the seats.
Okay, so if you're in Connecticut, you're either a Patriots fan or a Jets fan.
I would say you're a Patriots fan.
Okay.
I think a Jets fan, and that, I don't know. I think you would sooner be a Giants fan, because that team, like the New York Giants in the boroughs, I think is more popular than, like, a lot of people on heading toward Jersey like the Jets.
Okay.
So,
Got it.
although there are plenty of New Yorkers that like the Jets.
Okay. Just
I would say
curious.
Patriots.
I
That
was
would be
just
my
curious.
guess.
Okay.
They probably like the Boston Celtics,
I was going to say, who do you like for basketball? It's the Celtics. Okay.
the Bruins
Okay.
for hockey.
Got it.
Yeah.
Baseball?
I think because the Red Sox probably, because it's all like within 2 hours you could be at a game. Within an hour and a half, 2 hours or something like that, you could be to Boston.
Okay.
So,
All right.
my guess. What do you think?
I'm dumb, so I'm trying to figure out where Connecticut is on the map.
It's it's northeast, like really far east, like between,
It's square,
between New
right?
York.
Isn't it square, a rectangle?
It's square.
Yeah, it's a rectangle.
So you know,
next
like
to-
you know how the coast of America sort of swoops out, and you have New York here, then you have Connecticut here, then you have Boston or Massachusetts, like the little stem that sticks out over there.
Okay.
I'm sure this is
it's
super entertaining
between-
to everybody who's listening to the show right now. They're like, "Where is he pointing, dude?"
Oh, so it's between New York and Massachusetts, basically.
Okay.
With on top of it is Vermont, right?
Yeah, in New Hampshire.
Yeah, New Hampshire.
So
Yeah. No, they
it's
don't
like
have
all those little New England states are sort of packed in together. You know.
Yeah, I would say any Boston team.
Oh, you picked Boston. You went Boston before New York.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think so.
Because New York isn't a part of like New England.
God, that's so funny.
That's not.
It's really
Even though
not.
it kind of was.
Yeah.
But
But it's not.
You're right. You're absolutely
it's
right.
outgrown
Yeah.
it. It's outgrown New England.
Yeah.
Okay, so the big thing with Essex is because it's such a small little town. First of all, I told you the main street ends at the Connecticut River, which is pretty phenomenal. So the main street, I think, only goes about a mile, maybe half a mile. God, is it even a mile? Am I
That's
like?
probably a mile.
Okay, so you could, when you stand at the top of the main street and look down, you're looking toward the water.
Yeah, when you're standing at the roundabout or
Yes.
whatever.
Is that
yeah,
about a mile?
I would say that's a
Okay.
mile. Yeah, I mean the sort of the heart of it all, and especially where the Griswold Inn is probably half a mile.
Okay.
Less
So
to the river.
The big draw for Essex isn't just like the beautiful homes and the history. It also is these two businesses that formed together. They used to have a steam locomotive train that would take tours through the Connecticut River Valley. And then they had a steam boat that would take tours on the Connecticut River. And both of those businesses, you could only see parts of Connecticut on those two modalities of transportation. So you could only see certain things on the steamboat that you could never get to car, and you could only see certain things on the steam train that you could never get to on a car. But they formed a business together, which was brilliant. And you can do both of those in one day. So you could take a 2.5 hour ride and be on a train for an hour and a half and then go to the boat for an hour. It's phenomenal. Like if you look at their calendar of events, they do like dinners with Santa on the train. They do like candlelight dinners at night on the boat, like just really cool. And in typical Skip Town fashion, we went to go take a tour and it was closed.
Oh,
We missed our opportunity. Yeah, the last ride was at 11.
Dinner with Santa?
We did not
No,
get dinner with
I
Santa.
did not. The last ride was at 11 a.m. That's the last ride on a Saturday.
That's checkout time.
I agree with you. I was like, what? And we pulled into where you get the tickets and catch the train. I'm like, where's everybody? I literally was like, where's everybody? I'm getting out. And James goes, getting out to what? And I said, I'm going to go to the ticket booth. He goes, it's closed. Like
There was like nobody there.
there was no one there. And I was so disappointed. So it has really made me feel quite insecure about our travels because I like to pride myself on the fact that I create fun wherever we go. But
You're a fun maker.
I do think I am. But some of these cities have made it very difficult. We have gone to countless places on the wrong day, the wrong time. Like, I guess living in Los Angeles where everything is open all the time, you just got used to it in the 30 years that we lived there. So we roll up to, Natchitoches, Louisiana, and no, nothing's open on Sundays, Mondays, or Tuesdays.
Do you think a lot of these towns don't like tourism?
Wow. I think they put up with it as a necessary evil. And so some of them do create a schedule that makes it difficult for their town. Makes it so their town isn't overrun. That's a really good question.
Because, like, if you know, you know, right?
Yes. And we did not know.
Dang.
And we do this a lot, Phil. And it's really frustrating.
But in the case of Newport, Rhode Island, let's just use them as an example because we were there recently. Sidewalks pretty much closed during the week at
Sidewalk.
8 p.m.
Everything. Phil.
Yeah,
Close
like,
a sidewalk.
well, As a matter of speaking, like all the shops were closed, like as you were walking down.
Sorry. Sidewalks.
Sidewalks roll up is a very city term. It's like we roll up the sidewalks at 8 p.m. or whatever around here. But it was a little later. I mean, but so many of those places were closed because it was off season. So naturally, if you're going to some of these places, which we were, I just don't think they were running a full schedule because the weather was cold when we were there, and they probably just don't get that many tourists at that time of year. So,
yeah, but back to Phil's question, like, do you think that they schedule things so that tourists don't overrun the city? I do think that in some places, yeah.
maybe.
It's like gatekeeping.
Yes. It is like gatekeeping. I do feel that. Like, I'm like, why is the last train, why is it at 11 a.m. on a Saturday? Like, that's crazy. Like, to me, that made no sense. Immediately, I'm like, that's a bad business owner. Like, that's immediately where I go to, right? You know how much money you could be making? Just stay open till 5. But I think there might be something to it. Here's another thing that we've learned. Like the South, people in that part of the country, like the New England part, they really value their time with their family. So they value their days off. They close at 6. They don't stay open a minute past 6. I walked into a shop one time and the girl was folding up the clothes. It was like 4:57 and she closed at 5. And she's folding up the clothes and she goes, just to let you know, I close at 5. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. She goes, okay, bye. Like, in LA, if somebody walks in at 4:59 and you close at 5, you stay there and you do not mention that you close in 1 minute and you hang out until that person has walked every inch of your store. And if they walk out in 30 minutes and it's 5:30 and they have not bought a single thing, that is okay. You do not let them know that you closed a half hour ago.
It's crazy to me. People want to spend time with their families.
Right? How dare they?
I don't know.
I don't know how they keep a business going. I mean, seriously, I actually don't understand it myself.
Don't you think, though, we've talked about this, you and I have talked about this, but let's get Phil to weigh in. Haven't things been just weird since the pandemic in so many business models, in so many small business models all over the country, like, or all over, just even here in Orlando, for example? Like, restaurants are always short-staffed. Nothing is like half the menu is available at some places,
I have a theory.
Or if it, like there's no inventory on 4 out of 7 of the shelves in a particular place.
I have a theory.
What is it?
I think what the pandemic created was the dependence on the 9-to-5s. I think people have found other ways to make money, and so they're not handcuffed to what a traditional job forces you to do. So traditional jobs, you have to stay late when someone comes in. So
Right.
People don't want to tolerate that anymore. You know?
Tolerate. You use the word. I was just going to say, is it really like a new business model or is it just tolerate? You use the word that was in my head. I'm like, people are like, I don't want to put, like, the pandemic, I think, made people intolerant of their long hours.
Yeah, because now they found other ways to make money. So now they're not handcuffed by those jobs because that was the only way that they were able to make money. But now a lot of people work from home.
Yeah.
A lot of things have changed because of the pandemic. So the pandemic created a lot of opportunities. So how many businesses don't have brick and mortars anymore because their staff just works from home?
That's what allows me to travel across the country.
Exactly.
I don't have to go to
I'm so
I don't have to go
tired,
to a little
though.
building in Hollywood anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm so tired of people using the pandemic as a reason that their supplies are short or a reason as to, like, we're short staffed. I'm like, we're 2004. We're 4 years out.
2024.
What did I say? 2004? Sorry. We're
Yeah.
2024. Like, we're 4 years out. Like, you should have this wrapped up by now. Like, why am I still hearing this?
You want to know how I figured out there was a supply chain issue? Was that Coca-Cola got rid of some of my favorite flavors of my favorite sodas.
Oh shoot!
Because there
you
was
can't get lemon vanilla Coke anymore.
I cannot get it no more.
Oh, no.
and the prices have gone up too because they don't have staff or what happens is, so like one of the big issues, do you remember when like chicken was like really, really expensive?
Yeah.
Because they didn't have anybody working the factories and the chickens all died and got bird flu. So they had to kill them all.
Yeah.
I remember.
Right. And so I think all that stuff like somehow trickles down, or
Here we go.
people are just greedy. The corporation's just greedy. And they said, let's just raise the price of everything.
I think that's it.
Oh, yeah.
I actually think that's it.
People will adapt.
Inflation's insane right now. Like
Yeah.
we're at record level. You would never know it if you watch like right wing or listen to right wing radio
you
or
said
anything.
it right.
But right wing radio,
White ring. White ring.
white ring radio. If you would never know it, but we're kind of at like record levels of employment right now. Like our unemployment ratio is really, really low, and yet prices are through the roof
But you know why the unemployment ratio is down?
because of all these people taking like different jobs.
Yes, everybody has to work 2 or 3 jobs.
That may be true.
That I think is 100% true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, it's weird.
Thanks,
It's-
Obama.
It does go back to Obama. And Hillary. You could just blame Hillary for that.
Blame
too.
Hillary.
But yeah, I just think like, again, when we travel and we see, stores closing early or not open, 3 days out of the week, I'm just like, why, how are you staying afloat? But somehow they do. They're more time at home, more power to you. It makes my life more difficult, and I have to work around everyone else's schedule now. So I'm just not used to that. I'm getting used to it.
I give those small businesses props though, because like you said earlier, we didn't value time with our families, and what the pandemic took a lot of families away.
Yeah.
It's true. Yeah,
So, people have a business, it's not that important anymore.
it's true. Yeah.
I think also people got used to when, especially in LA, climbing out of the pandemic or whatever. It's like now all of a sudden the kids are playing sports again, and yet I can still work from home, which means I could go see the kids play sports or do whatever their functions are, their extracurriculars at school or whatever. We have this sense of community now. We know our neighbors that we never knew before
true.
because we were stuck like on the same block with them for a calendar year. You know what I mean? So like we actually had to interact with people and make sure everybody was okay. So
I'm glad because here was just different though. So the way y'all experienced it, I'm glad we never had to.
I'm glad you didn't either.
Yeah.
And no one got sick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I lost my dad.
Was it during the pandemic?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, he had COVID, and then he died 3 weeks later.
Oh, so
Holy
sorry.
cow.
Wow.
Yeah, he had
Oh my gosh.
he had congestive heart failure. Then he had COVID, recovered from the COVID, but then died 3 weeks later. Which they say it wasn't connected, but come on,
Oh no. Well,
Right.
he died in January 21. It was like
Where did he live? Florida?
Virginia.
Oh, Virginia. Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I know.
Because Florida was always gray area.
I lost 2 coworkers here in Florida from COVID.
Did
Ooh.
We
You'd
didn't
never
hear
know it though from the news.
Never,
You would never
Phil.
know it. Everybody was
Never.
like, "Oh, it was just a flu here in Florida." I don't know
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
everybody in California overreacted.
No,
So-
I lost 2 coworkers.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Wow.
so sorry. That's terrible. James knew 4 people that died.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. So that's depressing.
Okay, let's go on a lighter note.
Did you
Yeah,
have fried chicken in Essex? What
well,
was like the main
no.
food?
Fish.
Seafood. It's seafood
Oh.
because they're on the water. I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
Phil.
Sorry. No, not for you.
You don't even eat fried fish.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay.
Fried fish is good, but most likely, if someone says it's a seafood town, they
No.
mean crustaceans or shellfish or
It's
something
true.
like that.
Yes, that's
yeah,
what it is.
no, but you can get Atlantic cod there, fried in a basket with some French fries. Pretty awesome.
I don't how we talked about this early on, like what my barometer for like a good restaurant is.
Yeah.
And I mentioned if it's a Mexican place, it was always the enchiladas.
Right.
Anywhere else, it's fish and chips.
Oh, wow.
That-
Okay.
that's my- if it's-
That's your barometer.
Yeah, if the fish and chips
Wow.
are good, everything else is really good. But I'm very picky when it comes to fish and chips.
You like
So-
the beer batter or you like the flaky, the crusty batter?
The crusty batter.
Oh, okay.
So-
Like more like the panko.
Or the tempura kind of.
Oh, okay.
I like tempura. But wait, I have a question. So where the heck do you check out a fish and chips when it's not a fish and chips place? So if you go to like a burger place, you'll do the fish and chips?
If they only sell like Red Robin, I'm not going to get fish and chips.
Okay,
you know?
so
But like Ale House, I'll get fish and chips.
oh, got it. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. All right, oh, that's your barometer. Good to know.
And if it's trash, then most of the food on there is not going to be good.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So did you have fish and chips?
We did. We had
the
in the wine
Griswold?
bar. Yeah, we had fish. It was the most amazing fish I'd ever
It
had.
was.
They didn't have the chips with it. It was just the fish. It was delicious, and I loved it. And you would have been very happy, Phil.
They have karaoke over there?
They did.
Y'all ever do that?
We've done karaoke.
We do that once in a while.
I
Who's better?
Great while.
he's really good. Oh, he's
Really? She just said, I'm
good.
really good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Wow.
He knocked it out one time.
I don't
Okay,
think so.
here's a story. We all went out with a bunch of friends and went to this we all went out, like out, like to a bar, to dinner, the whole 9 yards. And then at the end of the night, my friend Gina was like, let's go to this karaoke bar. And I was like, okay. And I know he can totally rock it. Like, I'm like, oh, but they have no idea he can do it, right?
He could totally rock it.
Yeah, they had no idea he could do it. So they're all like putting in their requests. And so I said to him, I go, put in a request, but do like something totally opposite of what they would ever expect. He's like, what? I'm like, do a Taylor Swift song or a
Super freak Rick James.
One Direction.
I did One Direction.
He did One Direction.
You don't think you're beautiful? That song or whatever?
Oh,
How do you know the words, bro?
Well, they
girls.
give you the words on
Well,
the
plus
screen.
3 daughters. He's
Plus, I
heard
had
it
3 daughters.
on repeat
Radio
in the
Disney.
car. Oh my
in the
gosh.
car
So
to school every morning.
He goes up there and he starts singing. The entire place is full of millennials. They go insane. They jump up.
They
They
did.
start dancing. My girlfriend Gina looks at me and goes, what is happening right now? And I go, he's really good, isn't he? And she's like, oh my God, because he's got a good voice. But no one would have thought, somebody would have thought that he was going to sing like
Bon Jovi.
Yes,
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen. But he went up there and everyone was like, what is this guy going to sing? And he knocked out One Direction.
man.
Yeah,
You
I had
need
like
to go to City Walk.
I had Young Bucks like high fiving me at the end of the song.
You need to
and
go to
stuff.
Rising Star over at City Walk. You know what
Oh,
that is,
really?
right?
No.
Oh, see, okay, I know we're talking about Essex, but here in Orlando, we have this amazing karaoke bar called Rising Star. It's at Universal City Walk, right?
Oh, okay.
What it is, it's not your traditional karaoke bar. You are performing in front of a live band.
What?
The live band is your backup.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So let's say you pick a song out of the catalog, right? It's so busy there. So the last time I was there, you put your name down and you write the song you pick a song because the band just knows a certain amount of songs,
Right.
right? And then they put it in a fishbowl and they pick it out of whoever, right?
Yeah.
So then you have the whole lights. It's like a little concert. So
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
every like person's dream is always doing a performance.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
so like it is your
Yes.
little dream. You know, they have the screens with all the words and all that stuff, but it's a live band and they do your
That's
jam and you're rocking with the mic and you're
brilliant.
doing the thing and the crowd's going crazy and
Nice.
Have you done it?
no.
Why?
I didn't get called.
You didn't get picked.
Okay, do you like karaoke?
Yeah, I love karaoke.
Okay, what's your karaoke song?
Yeah. What's your
Rick
go-to?
James, Super Freak.
Oh, that's your go-to.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one I'm doing. Or I'm doing like maybe an old Dr. Dre song.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Like,
Okay.
Keep your head ringing. You know that
Okay.
song?
I stay away from rap. I'm
I
too
know.
much of a biscuit for that. I can't do it.
So like if you do a rap song, can you say the word or you can't say the word?
Oh
Right?
no, you
don't-
cannot.
say the
No.
word.
Even if you're rap,
I don't
even
say
if
the
you're
word.
like-
You cannot say
I don't
the
say the word. I have a policy. I don't say it. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just skip over it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
I
for.
always wondered.
Yeah. No.
I just feel like that road has been paved. You know what I mean? And it's like everybody should be on that highway by now.
Agreed.
If you're of a certain complexion that looks like mine.
Agreed.
And it's just like, it's easy enough. Out of all the words in the universe, you get to use so many words. You just can't use that one. That's it.
Just
there
go
are so
quiet.
few rules. Yeah.
Just go quiet. Just bob your head when it comes on.
Yeah. So anyway, but so you brought up that night though. That reminded me
Of the music that they play there.
Yeah, and well, I mean, it just reminded me of like how fun going out in LA, like live music could be.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were talking about the karaoke thing. Do you remember the night? This is so funny. Do you know who Moby is?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Moby, very popular.
Do you know who Perry Farrell is?
No.
Okay.
You
He's the
know,
lead.
you know Jane's Addiction. You've heard the name.
Okay.
Okay, so Perry Farrell is the lead singer of Jane's Addiction. Okay. One night, Denise is out with her girlfriend Janet, our friend Janet, who owns the Bourbon Room on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles. Quick plug for Janet's
Yeah.
bar.
It's amazing.
Yeah, but Janet has deep, deep roots in rock and roll, as in she managed the band Nirvana. Have you heard of this band Nirvana?
I think so.
Yeah, she managed them at one point, among others. And so, anyway, you're out. You're so excited with Janet. You're going to Moby has a vegan restaurant.
No.
He doesn't?
I was at a fundraiser.
Oh, you're at a fundraiser?
Legit at a fundraiser.
I thought you were at Moby's vegan restaurant.
No. We're at
Okay.
a fundraiser.
The vegan restaurant's good. Okay, well, you tell the tale then.
We just went to a fundraiser. Like Janet gets invited to things all the time. And one of her clients named Lisa Loeb was performing at this fundraiser in LA. And it was a small group of people. And she said, do you want to come with me and hang? And I said, I'm going to go and be with Lisa tonight. And I said, sure. So we show up, everyone's like dressed really nice. And so I had something nice on. And we're standing there, we're talking. Then all of a sudden this guy walks up like, hey, Janet. And I look, and it's Moby. And now they're in deep in a conversation because she knows Moby on a completely different level than like anyone else. You know, they're talking about some guy they knew and he had changed jobs and then he lost his job and da-da. And like then Moby's like, I feel so bad from Janet's like, I know, I can't believe. And I'm just like, oh my God, it's Moby. And I'm trying not to be a fan. Like I'm trying to be normal. And Janet's talking. And then she turns over to me. She goes, do you want to take a picture with Moby? And I was like, yeah, I want to take a picture with Moby. And he's like, sure, let's take a picture. And she's like, oh, thanks. And so she gets her camera, takes a picture, right? I'm dying inside. Because I'm a fan of his. I'm dying inside and I send the picture to James. Now he is across town with a bunch of kids doing a kid field trip. Legitimately, it's a Sunday. I'm with Janet hanging with Moby.
I had dropped them off. They were all going to a theater performance.
A kids theater performance.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that, but I'll drop you. I'm happy to drive you guys. And then I'll go get a beer or something.
This is the best part. I'm like, see ya, James. Like when we're leaving the house, I'm like, you've got kid duty tonight, right? I'm like, bye-bye. I'm like, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. I hop in the car with Janet, go to this fundraiser, meet Moby, send him a picture to totally rub it in, right? I'm like, ha, 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 look who I met.
1 minute later, I send her a video of me. So you guys listening can't see, but I'm reaching out to Phil right now and I'm about 3 feet from his face. I sent her a video of Perry Farrell singing into my phone because he happened to be at this place called Sagebrush Cantina playing with his Porno for Pie. He did a spin-off band, or he did his own band after Jane's Addiction for a while called Porno for Pyros. And he was singing one of their songs, like their hit songs, Pets.
With like the house band.
Yeah.
With the house band. He was there with his wife. They were having a drink.
Yep.
And somebody was like, you want to sing? And he was like, sure. Because that happens in LA a lot. Like
Yeah.
very, very rare. It's very, very common, not uncommon to be at a place, see a celebrity, and if they're singing, like they'll just get up. Like for instance, my girlfriend was at a bar. Will Smith was there. This is 100 years ago before he did the Chris Rock thing. And he got up and sang Summertime. Like he was with his friends and they were like, they were at a bar. And
It's pre-slap, Will.
Yes, it's pre-slap. And so he sang Summertime. It's not uncommon for that to happen quite a bit if there's a band there or there's
You see why I'd want to go to
Yeah.
Los
Yeah.
Angeles?
so
I get it.
he's at Sagebrush Cantina.
She was so mad. I
Oh,
sent
you
it
have no
back to
idea.
her and she was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like Perry Farrell.
I'm like, where are the kids? Aren't you supposed
like,
to be kid
"What
duty?
kids?"
Yeah. And he's like, I dropped them off.
They're
I'm
not
having
done
a
for
beer.
another
And I
hour.
was like, what is Perry Farrell doing at Sagebrush? She's like, I don't know. He's hanging here with some friends. They got him to go up on stage. I mean, that's major. Like Perry Farrell in the white world, if you're an alternative rock lover, that's like seeing like, I don't know, Snoop Dogg. Like Perry Farrell is the king of alternative rock next to Kurt Cobain. Like I would say that they're very, very similar.
What was Jane's Addiction's main song?
Oh God.
Been caught stealing. You
Yeah.
ever hear that? Been caught stealing once when I was 5.
That sounds familiar.
I'm not going to win any karaoke contest singing that
sounds
song.
familiar, though.
Yeah. That was
Is Moby really short?
very. I was looking down at the top of his head.
Because you're what, 5'9", right?
Yeah, and I had heels on.
Oh!
Yeah, he's very short.
You're
He's
pushing
probably 5'7". Yeah. So
She
I
meant
have a
that-
picture. I'll send it to you, and you can see it was me and Moby.
Is he even in frame? I mean, it's just like you.
He's kinda like-
top of his head.
I know.
The top of his head.
She's like got his elbow on his head,
He's like,
her
"That's
elbow
Moby,
on his head.
I
that's
took a
Moby."
picture with Elijah Wood, and I had to.
Oh, yeah, he's like
I had to
5'2".
squat. Like I had to come down, and I didn't want to be disrespectful, but there was no way he was going to be in frame.
You should just picked him up.
Yeah.
Treat him like a baby.
Take him
Come on,
home with you.
Frodo.
But those things are kind of common. Like I went out, so there was this band in like the mid 2000s, something like that, right? 2005, 2000, or was
I
it
don't know
earlier?
what the band. What's the band?
Oh, right. Formerly known as Metal Shop, now known as Steel Panther.
Okay, this is LA we're talking.
Yes.
So this is
At the
goes back to
Viper
LA.
Room.
Yes. Okay, so
We're still,
yes.
yeah, I mean, we went down this path. Can I stay on it for a second?
Sure, it's your show.
And so there was this band, they would do parody sort of rock songs. It was all about, getting wasted and scoring, like Poison. One or two iterations of Motley Crue was like
bands.
glam
Yes,
metal,
they
totally
were
glam metal.
Yes.
Yeah.
White
And so-
Snake, Cinderella.
But they would go up there and it was a parody. So they were performing and they would have all these dirty lyrics and all this other stuff, but they were so stupid and corny and funny. And they would do jokes in between sets or whatever. And one night I was out watching them with a friend who was in town. It was just like one of those things where if you were a classic rock guy, you grew up with all these songs and they played a lot of them. And I took this guy to see this band, and they're like, they're up on stage and they're like, wouldn't it be cool if like I want to play Walk This Way or whatever? And they're like, wouldn't it be cool if Steven Tyler was here and he came up and he's like, dude, that'll never happen, and all this other stuff. And all of a sudden, bam, Steven Tyler gets up on stage with them.
Aerosmith. Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, so those kind of, you saw them.
Yeah, I did. They played at the Viper Room. So it started off as like Monday nights in LA at the Viper Room. And it was just a small little thing. Like people were like, oh, there's this really funny band that makes fun of all these metal bands. So you should go. Like that's how it kind of started. Then it turned into a thing. So like you would go to the Viper Room and you would go because celebrities were going to show up. So when I was at the Viper Room, Gene Simmons from Kiss was there, but he wouldn't get up on stage. He was just hanging out in the booth, but he was there. And then the same night or another night I went, because it's fun. Like when you have people in town, you're like, we're going to take them to go see this band because you'll see a celebrity there. Then the one night I was there, this lead singer, Stephen Piercy from this band called Rat. He got up.
You ever hear the band Rat?
RATT?
Yeah.
Round and Round. Yeah.
So he got up and sang with them. It was pretty cool. So, we were very lucky. Like in Los Angeles, we had a lot of those moments. I remember I was going to see Tenacious D, who's really like Jack Black. Yep. Okay. So I was going to see Tenacious D at a bar that my friends told me they were playing at. We get there, they're not playing at the bar. It's fine. So we hang out for a little bit. We decide to go get pizza next door. We're at the pizza place and the bass player from Tool is there. Like Tool is a hugely popular band.
Prog metal.
Yeah. Like just in LA, especially, like they live in LA, like they're enormous. And so stuff like that, like, and my friend knew him. And so he started chatting with him. I'm like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe we're just like sitting here. I think his name is Justin.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
I don't think I would get starstruck. The only person I think I would get starstruck would be probably The Rock. That'd be it.
Yeah, we talked about this before. Yeah. He's like your icon of icons.
Yeah, that's it. Everybody else, cool. I'll meet you.
I don't know. You say that now, but I think if you saw somebody, you would be like, oh my gosh. Because as much as I live in LA and I try not to be starstruck, I'm still a fan. Like I'm still a music fan. I'm still a movie fan.
But I met a lot of people when I was at ESPN. I mean, they came in every day. They're famous people, and I didn't flinch or blink.
You're not a sports. You said you worked in sports radio, but you weren't like huge sports guy.
No, I had to fit in where I get in.
Yeah,
get in where I fit in. What's the term? One of those. But they had random celebrities come in all the time. Just promoting something.
Yeah, big names, obviously.
Yeah, but I was never.
But you're more of a movie fan, so I feel like you worked in a sports career. You worked in a sports field, but you're a movie fan. I kind of feel like, please, like if you saw, like, I don't know, Christian Bale, if you saw Joaquin Phoenix, if you saw, let me see, who else would be like, who are the Marvel guys? Like
maybe Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay. Or even like with the Hemsley brother.
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, come on. Blake Lively. You wouldn't like, or I don't know, like who, because I'm thinking of Marvel movies too. I'm like, Marvel movies. Because he likes
when
Marvel
you go to
movies.
the theater now, that's all there is.
But I know
Robert Downey Jr. probably.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Keanu Reeves. Stop it.
Keanu Reeves. But he's so chill though. He wouldn't even make me feel like he's a celebrity.
I know.
That's the
he's
term.
like movie Jesus.
Yeah, he's just like a chill dude.
But you would get starstruck. You would.
I'd have to find out. Hey, so Keanu, I know you're probably watching this, so make sure you subscribe.
Check it out.
And,
I saw LL Cool J one time. I was in my car and I was going home and I was at a stoplight and I'm in my little Honda and I'm just like at a stoplight and I just happen to look over and it was like all happened in such slow motion. I look over and I'm looking and I look up because it's SUV and it's LL Cool J. And then I turn my head because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's LL Cool J. Then I'm like, no. I'm going back. So I turn my head back again and he's looking right at me and I just take my hand and I like wave really slow like this. And he waved back.
Oh.
He waved back. I was like, oh, that's awesome. He just like made my night.
Do you think artists listen to their own music when they're driving?
I've always wondered that.
You think LL Cool J was listening to Mama Gonna Knock You Out? Mama said knock you out. You think he's listening?
I don't think they do. I think they hear it so much in the recording studio when they're
That's so
making
funny.
it. Don't you think that they're so sick of hearing it after like being played
Probably
over?
listening to TLC.
You think so? Everyone was listening to TLC.
I love TLC. They're awesome.
I don't think artists listen to their own music. No.
I don't watch my own TV shows, and that's a very small indicator right there.
Do you think artists listen to their own music?
The egomaniacs do.
Oh, like who? You think
Kanye.
Jay-Z?
Kanye listen to his own
Oh,
music.
of course he does.
Yeah.
Of course he does. Do you think Jay-Z and Beyonce?
No.
Okay. Who's an egomaniac besides Kanye?
A lot of rappers are.
Yeah. Diddy.
Do you think Diddy listens? Oh, Diddy listens to his own music for sure.
We can't go down the Diddy
Blaring it.
wormhole
No.
right now. Like that's its own
I know.
episode.
Okay, fine. Okay. All right. So let's go back to Essex. So do you know, like, okay, tell me, let's talk about houses real quick. Cause we
Yeah, let's talk about actually living in Essex.
Because we actually drove around.
Let's do some Skip
It is
Town
a-
stuff.
Yeah, it is
What do
a
you say?
place that none of us could afford to live in. So let's just talk about that. Okay. First of all, let me just say, their historic district is so large. Where most historic districts are only a few blocks, Essex is a mile and a half of a historic home. So you can't afford anything right there. like if the beauty of living in Essex is being able to walk outside your door and just walk on Main Street, grabbing a bite to eat and go down to the water, you got to be a multimillionaire to do it because all of those historic homes,
There are legacy homes.
yes, and they
Yeah,
start
a
at
couple of them.
1.5 to 2 million, and these are not big homes. But so think about that. Like you have a mile and a half that you have to just go outside of the city radius to find affordable, and I'm using quotation marks, air quotes if you're listening, because again, affordable is so relative when you're talking about Essex, Connecticut.
Well, okay. So to your point, Route 9, I think it's called Route 9, runs north-south through Essex. Everything to the east of that is what you're talking about, 7 figures, 1.2s to 2.5, 3 millions, 4 millions, whatever. So those ones are the kind of the ones out of reach. And incidentally, that's right where the Hotel Grizz is, the Griswold Inn.
You don't say.
And so there are other areas, though, like there are opportunities in the 500K to 700K range to the east of it, still in sort of Essex proper. So they're a little more expensive, but there are other areas. Ivoryton is, I think, a little south of where we were staying in Essex. They're more affordable, but they don't have the same charm, obviously. There are some colonials. There are some Cape Cod style houses there, but then there are also like craftsman style houses out that way as well. Lisa, going back to the conversation we had with our waitress, Lisa, at the wine bar at the Griswold Inn, she said, don't sleep on Deep River and Chester. And Chester is an area where, do you remember we went to the river up in that area? It was closed off. You couldn't get through, and there was like an armory or something on the other shore. Then we came back through, and Chester was that little town area where we kind of went up the hill. Mm-hmm. There was a fork in the road, and it was all sort of little shops and bars and restaurants there. Really cute. We could afford probably to live in Chester, and Deep River, I believe, is where Lisa actually said she lives as well. And there are some great little neighborhoods down there, around there, where you can get like your 3+2s, 2,500 square feet or what have you. I don't think you're going to get the same acreage. One thing that I did see though on homes.com earlier today in preparation for this show, that piece of land that we went to look at is still for sale.
How much is it?
$120K for half an acre.
Just the land?
So
Yeah,
just the land.
It's expensive.
So you got to build a house on top of that.
Absolutely.
It doesn't come with anything.
No.
Just
Nope.
grass.
You got to cut down the trees. No,
And-
that's
And
not
you got to
the
cut the trees
Oh
down.
yeah, that's why. There's a lot of
yeah.
work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how can you even sell that? It's just
Well,
nature.
they'll sell it eventually. There are other
No,
plots.
but say how? Who owns that? It's just grass.
Yes, but a gentleman bought it, and he's like 80 something years old right now, and he is willing to sell it. But you have to have the money to develop the land, which means cutting down the trees, making it nice and flat so you can build a
Connecting
home.
to all your city services,
Yes,
all that.
Yes.
So way more than 120.
Way more. So yeah. So we looked at the property, not knowing how much the land was, and just wanted to see it. Because we were told there just isn't much available that's already built in Essex. So what are you left with? What are your options? You have to build. So go and look at this piece of property.
There are other plots that are similar, like not right off the freeway, like this particular piece of land is. Those go for like 340, just the land, 340K. Yeah.
Good gosh.
So you have to have money to live in Essex. So
start booking more podcasts now, producer Phil.
I can't. AI took over my job, so I'm stuck. I've got to bumble with you guys.
Okay.
So,
I gotta try with y'all.
No problem. You can come right along with us, and we will all be looking for that diamond in a rough. Okay, so all that to say, could you live in Essex? Like
absolutely, 100%. Yes. I don't know if I can completely afford what I want there. I'd have to give up one or two check marks. It is a little far.
You say that about everything, though. No, I want you
Essex
to think
is
about
special.
This. I want you to really
Essex
think
is
about
special.
this. Could you really live there?
Yes.
Don't you say yes to everything.
No.
I don't.
I could live there.
Okay.
I could totally live there. I loved Essex. It's probably... We did Guilford. We've done like 4 or 5 towns so far. Out of all of them, I have to say Essex is probably my favorite.
You're so impressionable.
I have a question.
Yes.
And Newtown and Brookfield.
See, here we go.
And New Milford.
Go ahead.
It's a 2-part question, but first part, how many black people did you see?
0.
Okay.
0.
Second part, how close are the McDonald's?
There was no McDonald's anywhere around.
Then yeah,
No.
I see.
Yeah.
It's one of those towns.
It is one of those towns. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But
What are you running from, James?
what? Well, it's not like it's out there. I mean,
I agree. I could not live there. So if you want to ask me
You
the
couldn't?
question, no, absolutely not. Because I'm realistic.
I didn't want to ask. I did not want to ask you the question because I don't want to hear your answer.
You know that game? Would you die or kill the person, right? Would you die or no? Would you kill or marry? No, marry or die, right? You marry them, or if you don't marry them, you die. Remember we used to play that game?
You said 4
marry
things and it's only 3
okay,
things.
my point is you marry everybody. Every town we go to, you're marrying. Okay, I could not live in Essex because I'm realistic. And that is there's not enough to do during the year. There just isn't. It's like super quiet. It's super sleepy. My kids would be bored to tears. So I could not live there. I would live there in the summer from May until September, but I'm not looking for a summer home. So no, I could not live there.
Wasn't one of the stats there? I know you couldn't live there. Thanks. I appreciate that. I disagree with it 100%. But wasn't one of the stats there that there are a lot of older women there who don't have husbands? It just came to me.
I'll move there.
Phil.
That's a fun fact.
Like shooting fish in a barrel, bro.
Fun fact. Do not move to Essex if you're single and you're a woman. There are no available men.
Oh, well, so move to if you are single
If you're
and
available,
guy.
yeah.
I love old white women.
Oh, you'll be just fine then.
Yeah.
That bar was full of old white women, remember?
Yeah, I do
Yes.
remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I had to keep
and
my
they
eye
love
on
me
him.
too.
Oh, they do love you, don't they?
Yeah, old white women. Old white people in general just love me. But
Well, you're a good-looking guy, so I can
Thank you,
I can see why. Absolutely.
yeah,
But yeah, so you know what? So Essex might be in the cards for you, my friend.
Yeah.
could be. All right.
Don't sleep on Essex, Phil.
No.
Essex is
I'll
like
sleep with Essex.
Literally all of it.
Essex is like a female's version of Alaska. Like every woman alive knows if you want a man, you move to Alaska.
Really? I've never.
That sounds super sketch.
No, there's so many.
That's where all the
men
criminals go.
There's so many men in Alaska. Everyone knows this. Like if
didn't
you
know
want a
that.
man, you go. There's a shortage on females in Alaska
Well, why would you go to Alaska?
because there's a shortage on females. If I want to meet a man, I'm going to move to Alaska. So
No,
if-
you're not.
I
You
get
don't
it.
want the
I
type of
get
man.
it. I get it. I get it. You want a husky, burly guy who runs from polar bears.
if that's your type, yes. Or there are plenty of single women that just can't meet men. So
Sounds dangerous.
what I'm saying though is Essex is the male's version of Alaska
I
for
get it.
women.
I get the analogy.
Sounds like a movie plot.
For you, it's not dangerous. For a woman in Alaska, it sounds like you're just walking right into danger.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about stats. I'm not talking about criminal stats. I'm talking about meeting a man.
Okay. established.
All right.
What else you got?
I think that's it. I think
That's
we
a
are
wrap
good
on Essex?
Essex, Connecticut. It's a great place to visit. Go in the summer. Bring your family. Go to the Griswold Inn. Enjoy a week there with your kids because it is nothing but water adventure. Great seafood, cute little town with ice cream stores, cookie shops, that whole thing. But living there, it's real quiet at night.
She is y'all. I'm surprised y'all don't have like a higher standing because y'all come from LA, so it's like always something to do. So
That's why I
there's
won't
nothing
move
to
there.
do there.
There's not. That's why I'm not living
That's why
there.
you don't want to.
There's
That's
so
why I'm
many
not
communities
living there.
around there. You got the river. You just mentioned all the
Everything
steamboat,
closes
all
at
the
8
this.
o'clock.
Well, you can
that.
do everything in a week.
Everything
But
closes
you can
at
do
8.
everything in a week.
Yep, Phil, you can do everything in a week. There's not enough to do.
There's so much to do.
All right. If you
Anyway.
guys ever go back, I'm only telling you this. I don't mean to ask you actually do this, but just do it just for me. Humor me. Download Tinder. Create a profile
you
and just see
imagine?
what's on Tinder in that area.
Oh, I think it's slim pickings.
Well, let me see.
Not if you're a man.
So see. I want to
Oh,
see.
we're gonna see.
I want to see what
Okay.
they got.
We
All
are
right.
going to see. Special thanks to wrap this up. Special thanks to Joan Paul for having us at the Griswold Inn. It was a fantastic experience. I felt colonial every minute I was there. It's just an incredible place. And I do agree. It is one of the places that should be visited on your 1,000 places to visit before you die. I just butchered that name.
It's okay. We all knew what you meant.
Thank you to all the staff and everyone at the Griswold. Take them out.
Empty nest, full tank.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.